It's prophecy. Somebody get me 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter.
He had something.
Oh, really? Go on.
Isaiah 19 and 15. Neither should I be any work for Egypt,
Yeah.
which the head or the tail, branch or rush may do.
Yeah, so there's not going to be no jobs in America. That's what it means, that there's not going to be no work for Egypt. Egypt is like modern day Salaki. What am I talking about? America's modern day Egypt. Okay? I mean, it's not exactly like Egypt, but they take on the Egyptian customs. Really, America's more like Rome than Egypt, but they take on the customs of ancient Egypt and other empires of the past and culminate them all together. This is why America is known as Babylon the Great, which means confusion. The word kun means with, and the word fusion means to mix or to pre-mix together. Go on.
So, just to finish in Ecclesiastes 12 and 4, it says, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up against the slacker. He shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and the daughters of music shall be brought low.
Right, and that's what we're living in right now. And the music that the media is pushing out nowadays is crap. It's shite. I had to take him up north with that one. So yeah, that's what we're living in right now. And it says the doors, it says the daughters of music shall be brought low. So when we listen to the music of the past, we find that it is better sounding music than what it is right now. If you listen to the music that Jake is pushing out, you don't even understand what the hell they're talking about. And then it's auto-tuned down as well. You don't get what they're saying. You know what I mean? Like, there was a time when you would kind of get where Jake was coming from with the music, but you don't understand these newer age Jakes, what they saying nowadays. And it's just not even just music that Jake is making, it's all of the music. Even the music that Easy Edomites are making. It's all crap.
Yeah.
Even the reggae went crap. Everything went crap. Okay, so we're in that time. We're in that time. That scripture right there, and based on what we're experiencing in this time, indicates we're at the end. Okay? That's really the point that we're making there. We're at the end. Go on, brother.
It's just 2nd Ezra 15 and 15.
Yeah.
It says, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another,
Right,
and swords in their hands.
And one people shall stand up to fight against another people with swords in their hands. And like how you have now, you have riots happening around the world. And then in America, you're going to have race riots, because America was always a racially concerned country anyway, between blacks and whites. And even down here in England, you have racial issues between the Irish and the English. So you're gonna have riots between them two as well. So these things are going to take place. Confusion is going to take place, and this is something that the powers that be, that control certain things and that have the money to fund these groups, they're going to provoke that to happen. So the Most High's got everything set in place. He's got the right puppets right in place. You know what I mean? And eventually Esau's going to move on the Israelites, the prophets of the Lord, and that's when the Most High's going to move up against them. Go on, brother, because really these Edomites, they don't want to move up against us because they know the end result. So they're trying to find ways on how they can then move up against us without entering into that snare.
Yep.
Because there's a snare that they're going to get caught into by coming up against us. But there's no way around the snare. Go on, brother.
It's 2nd Ezra 15 and 16. For there shall be sedition among men.
Right, the word sedition means uprising. And that's what you have right now in Hong Kong. They rising up against their government and stuff like that. Go on, bro.
Sedition among men and invading one another.
Right, and invading one another. Go on.
They shall not regard their kings nor princes.
Yeah, it's going to get to the point where people are not going to care about the powers that be or their government. People are not going to care about it no more. Their backs are going to be against the wall, and when your back's against the wall, what are you going to do? You have nothing to lose. You're going to unleash. It's just human instinct.
So look,
Go on, bro.
One of the brothers shared a video in the group chat. I think it was in Chile. They dragged out one of the mayors of the city and painted her red, throwing all kinds of shit at her. They basically made her do a walk of shame through the whole town, man.
Yeah.
And that was a mayor of the city.
That was the mayor of the city. So so if they've done that and things are still smooth nowadays, how much more when the economy crashes all the way through on a global scale?
I can't wait, man.
That's right.
I can't fucking wait.
It's gonna be chaotic, man.
Fucking wait.
Go on, bro.
They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power.
Right, and the causes of their action shall stand in their power,
Right.
meaning the people are gonna have the upper hand, so to speak, you know. But guess what? The people are not gonna get what they want all the way because those missiles are gonna hit ground zero and they're gonna be put out. Right? So that's what's gonna take place, and then the elect are gonna be delivered out of that mess. The elect of God is gonna be delivered out of that. So that's what it's all about, man. It's all about, yeah, go on.
And one of the scriptures say, they shall be as women. They shall be as women. Because as a brother just said that they're not going to get what they want. Because all the people, even the men, they're going to be as women. They're going to be in a state of what? Confusion.
In fear.
That's what a woman brings forth confusion. A man brings forth like order. But these men, they're not going to know what to make out of all this like madness, this mayhem in it, because they put all their trust
In the world.
in Egypt.
Yeah.
You know, so once Egypt's the economy's like been destroyed, they're gonna be as women. They're gonna be in a
Yes.
state of confusion.
Yes.
So, this brother gonna bring us something.
This is Isaiah 13 and 14. And it shall be as a chased roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people,
Right.
and flee every one into his own land.
Obviously, it says other things, but the main thing that I want to bring out there is that every man shall go to his own people. You know what I'm saying? So this place, like,
That's
it's
a-
mingled. It's mingled. It's like a mingled. How can I say? Society, you could say,
Or melting pot.
Yeah.
Metropolis.
Metropolis. Yeah, Metropolis. Yeah. The Most High is gonna take that spirit away from this place. You know, because the word Babylon means confusion.
Yep.
All right. So the Lord's gonna bring everything back to how it was in the beginning, pretty much, because it says that the Lord divided the nations.
Yes.
So everything's gonna go back to the Lord's intent anyway,
Yeah.
showing you that what's going on right now, this is not the Lord's will. All right. So the Lord is slowly bringing things back to how it was. Okay. You said read that again.
But brother, just to cut you in, but you know what though? Even on a higher level, it is the Lord's will, because that's why you have Babylon,
Right.
so that people can come together.
Right.
But the Lord is going to flip the script
Right.
and then pretty much arrange the people within their same race.
Right. You know? So, yeah. So, this whole, racism and stuff like that. People are racist anyway, man. That's the truth. That's the truth of the matter, man.
Yeah.
That's the truth of the matter.
And we're racist as well. Everybody's racist,
Everybody's
man.
racist, man. Even whether they agree. I remember the time we was in King's Cross and Esau,
Yeah.
one Edomite said that.
yeah.
So we asked him, are you racist? He said, everybody's racist, whether they
And he's
agree.
right about that.
Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And there's nothing wrong with that, because when you look up the word race or racist, it means to be for your own race. If your team is playing out, right? Let's say you're from Brazil and Brazil's playing, who you gonna vote for? You're gonna vote for Brazil. Nothing wrong with that. Go on, bro.
You're not going to be supporting both sides. All football players, we should all come together.
Yeah.
Neutral.
Yeah. If you win, that's good. Football players, they're some aggressive motherfuckers, man.
Yeah.
People have died, man, in the name of football.
Football
man.
hooligans.
Hooligans, man.
Yeah, football hooligan. There's a word for it. I remember back in 89, when someone was saying to me about when I first started this job down in one of them East End areas, saying that there's a whole heap of racism, and he was trying to say that I was racist, and I said, but you football hooligans, no, yeah, violent, most violent. I said, you football hooligans are the most violent people, because you fight just for the sake of fighting over your football team, because their football team lost.
Like for example, you got people you got veterans, you got British veterans or people that went into war. They went into war to die for their country, right? So you can say that's racism.
Yeah.
I died for my country because this is where I was born. I support my people. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Go on, bro.
This society is racist, man.
Yeah.
The Red Poppy Day, celebrating all them Edomites that died in World War, was it 1, 2? All right. Flipping ball. What about the 1 minute silence for the slave trade, man? You know what I'm saying? So it shows you the animosity that Babylon has for Jacob, right? For Israel. They don't want to remember that. You know what I'm saying? Because it brings shame on Esau's name.
And another thing too, it doesn't benefit them, because it really benefited them to hold Jake put into captivity. But then at the same time, it was all prophecy anyway. We have to
Yeah,
go
yeah,
down
yeah.
into captivity.
Right,
That was all
right,
prophecy.
right.
But the thing with these Edomites, they don't care about that because they're not coming from the race of Jacob. They're
Right.
more because when you think about it, Esau's actually made a lot of money having Jake in the slavery.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because when you look at Jake, because they could get rid of Jake, but what kept Jake alive was his skills, his talents.
Yeah,
And that's something that they could financially build on.
yeah.
So, I mean, think about it. If you're in their shoes, you're not gonna then, get rid of a group of people that make you look good,
Yeah.
okay, or benefit your system. You're not gonna do that. Okay, go on, brother.
This is Genesis 10 and 32.
But then again, it's all through the Spirit of the Lord, because the Spirit of the Lord has a plan and agenda. Esau may have another agenda. He may say, look, I want to get rid of these Negroes. I want to get rid of these Latinos. But guess what? The Lord has a remnant that he wants to save out of them. And that's not the intent of the Lord anyway. Go on, bro.
This is Genesis 10 and 32. These are the families of the sons of Noah after their generations in their nations.
Yeah.
And by these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood.
Yeah, so you had the nations that were divided because you had an empire called, what is it, the Tower of Babel, which is the word Babel goes back to the word confusion, like I was saying earlier. So Nimrod the Great, he wanted to fuse everybody together. That's what Esau is doing now. Esau is using the same concept or idea that he was using. And when you read about the beginning, as we're reading into, it never worked. The angels were sent down from the Most High to confuse the languages. Not confuse the language, but to give all of these other nations their languages,
Yeah, yeah.
so that they can't come together.
Right.
So if God was all about unifying one people and a race of people, he would have done that even back then.
Salakia.
He wouldn't even let those angels get let loose so that the people can have their own languages.
Right. So,
Yeah,
Salakia, like,
go on.
you've got Jakes that are so hell-bent writing books and shit and making documentaries on how we're going to end racism,
Yeah.
how we're going to get things more equal. The simple solution is just separation in the first place, man.
Even Martin Luther King, Martin Luther King, he even came to that conclusion.
it was ridiculous.
And the thing with him is he was backed by I think what's his name, man?
The so-called Jew. I forgot his name.
One of the Rockefellers or something like that. He was backed by the Rockefellers. So he thought he was doing something good, but really he didn't know what he was doing. But he then later realized, it's till later he realized, oh man, I'm doing something wrong there.
I think he said, why am I going to integrate in a burning house? That's what he said. in one of
see?
his final
Yeah.
speeches,
Because that was the end. Because when he was in that stud, he realized, okay, this is what I'm doing. So he didn't really know. A lot of Jakes, they get into this position, they get a little, money and all of this other stuff, and they get to speak out for their people and all of that, but they don't even realize until later on. That's when he realized, okay, I'm doing something wrong.
Where is the Christmas market?
What's that? What are you looking for?
Christmas market.
I'm not really sure. I'm not really familiar. You might have to keep going. All right, man. So yeah, that's what it is. But the thing with the Lord created nations to be in their own stead. Let's get Deuteronomy 7.
Yeah, I was just about to get this.
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
It's Deuteronomy 7 and 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power.
Yeah.
The Lord thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself,
Right.
above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Deuteronomy. I meant Deuteronomy. What is it? 32, right?
32, right?
Yeah.
So Deuteronomy 32 and 8. When the Most High divided the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam,
Yeah.
he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
Yeah, meaning he gave every nation their own portion of land. So that's how it was from the beginning of time. So when people say, oh, you're wrong for being like this or you're being like that, it's nothing wrong with that, man. Because every nation has their own thing. Every nation has their own land and stuff like that. They were given their own land. But when everyone comes together, that's when the confusion comes in.
Yep.
And this is why you have what you have today. This is why you have a group of people. They want to down here in England. They're looking to be. They want to. They like the idea of They like the idea of Britain coming out of the EU, so to speak. You know what I mean? But the thing with Esau, the powers that be, they want to keep these nations here because they obviously uphold the economy,
Yep.
right? So that's why they're here. Because these Edomites that are here, they're not really handiwork. They're not really what's the word I'm looking for, man?
They're lazy.
Yeah, they're more lazy, man. They're more lazy, man.
So it's always been that way, actually, because that's why they're doing the Windrush now, trying to
I
get
was
all,
going to speak about that.
so
was gonna speak about
it's
that.
always been like that. That's slavery, and you
Yeah.
can talk about the modern day when they're trying to get all the Benjamites and the so-called Caribbean people over here
Yeah.
to do the menial jobs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they're not good with handiwork. The Edomites are not good with handiwork. So that's why he had to go get Jake from the West Indian Islands to go work. Like the brother was speaking about, the Windrush situation. That was the only reason why, because they not really good workers, man. Like if you take a group of people from Eastern Europe, they're gonna do the work. And I know this personally. Now those some beautiful ducks right there. Go on, bro.
So this is verse 9. For the Lord's portion is his people, Jacob is the lot of his inheritance.
Right, so you have the Lord's portion, which is his people, the nation of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, and even to those that are scattered abroad, looking like the other nations. Okay, but the Lord is dealing with the nation of Israel, and that's the Lord's portion. So yeah, go back to Isaiah 19. You finished with Isaiah 9?
No, I didn't read it.
We can forget about it.
Alright, this is Isaiah 19. Where should I start? Verse 2.
Where you left off, fam.
Verse 2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians.
Okay, we get back on topic. Yeah, so that's what the Lord is setting up, because this world war is going to be based on Esau fighting Esau. They both got the technology. They got the greater technology. This is coming from them, the missile technology. So they're going to blow each other back to front, front to back, back to front. They're going to butt heads. So Esau is going to rise up against Esau. And they're going to destroy themselves with their own blessing. Let me go back to the blessing, brother, one more time about Rashad. Because Esau was given a blessing. Why you think Yahushua told Peter, if you live by the sword, you should die by the sword? That's Esau. Esau was born with the sword, and he's using the sword,
yeah.
possessing his power with the sword, ultimately so that he can die by the sword. Go on, bro.
This is Genesis 27 and 39. And Isaac said, and Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above, and by thy sword thou shalt live.
Right, and by thy sword thou shalt live. And that's why he's able to uphold his position in power. That's why he's able to get the best parts of the earth. That's why he's able to get the best women, to eat the best food and whatever. Why? Because he has the sword. Yeah, so with the same sword, go on.
By the sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother.
Right, and shall serve thy brother. Ultimately, because Esau, he's going to use his own sword to his own demise. And then he's going into slavery. That's how this thing is playing out. It's very clear. It's very clear to see. You know what I mean? So, but we have to deal with the tribulation first. Let's go. Now we're going to deal with the tribulation aspect of it. Then we're going to jump around and go back to the main point. Because at the end of the day, like the brother, the elder Kazak even said, man, like really what we're doing is we're pretty much fighting a winning battle, man. Mm-hmm. The brother Kazak did a sit down called Whether You Know It or Not, we're still winning anyway. Eventually we're gonna win. Yeah, we may have to go through the tribulation, but we're gonna win anyway. It was preordained for the good guy to win. Now when you watch every film or so, what happens? The good guy, you know, he kicks ass a little bit there and there. In the middle of the film, he gets his ass whooped throughout the film, right? But at the end of the film, he rises back up and he beats the bad guy's ass. So we're the good guys getting our ass whooped. Okay, but does it mean we gonna always get our ass whooped for good? No. At the end of the day, we gonna win. Go on, brother.
This is Matthew 12 and 26.
Yeah.
And if Satan casts out Satan, he is divided against himself.
Right, and that's what's already happening right now. You have all of these different parties. One wants Brexit, one doesn't want Brexit. And it's even destroying household families concerning this situation. Yeah, so, and then you got the Russians going up against the Americans, which they used to work together at one time. They used to be best mates, but now they split it. Now they splitting up. Now they're going to raise up. Now what's happening is Putin, he's making diplomatic business moves with China, which they're very close to one another, and they're two great superpowers. So what does America have to do? What can America do? There's only so much America can do. There's only so much. There's only so much money they can fund on weaponry, and setting up, growing their military. And that's why it makes sense that they're gonna pretty much they're gonna just sanction all people as much as they can to fight this war, because in a world war, even when you study the world wars, people were dying like nothing. So they had to recruit new people to fighting this war. They have to keep getting recruited. So with the weaponry that Esau has now, there's going to be more death casualties, and there's going to be a lot of regrouping of military power. So that can include women getting involved, that can include trans getting involved, that can include men getting. It don't really make a difference. If you 15 years old and you know how to play the shooting video games that they got out there, your ass gonna be fighting that war. All right, they're gonna have you take, because before you get into the military, you got to take that ship. So you're gonna have certain people, they have to take that ship to go. They're gonna force you to take that ship and go fight that war. Go on, bro.
It's like in Matthew 12 and 26, and if Satan casts out Satan, he is divided against himself.
Right, if Satan cast out Satan, then they have divided themselves. Because what does the word Satan mean? The word Satan means adversary, to be adverse. And Esau is constructed to be adverse. He's read the book of the law, and he's figured out, okay, how could we break this law? How could we break that law? And he's broken that law. So that's what it means to be a Satanist. A Satanist ain't just somebody that's walking around with horns and stuff. No.
Yeah.
A Satanist is someone that studies the word of righteousness and then perverts it. And then makes a whole doctrine worldwide of it, man.
Waving.
See that?
Jake,
So what's going to happen is this is literally going to take place. This is literally going to take place. Satan is going to cast out Satan. Go on.
How shall then his kingdom stand?
How shall then his kingdom stand? And that's how Esau is going to be taken down. Because you're going to have other Edomites that are going to rise up against other Edomites. Just like the whole EU situation and NATO. They were all strong together. Now there's a separation going on. There's a separation going on in the Prime Minister of France, Macron. His thing is well, America's pretty much left us in the dirt of Syria, so we don't really feel protected of America. So we might as well just disassociate ourselves from America and formulate our own military. That's what he's telling the European Union, right? And then he's also saying that we can't really leave out Russia. But eventually, the whole European Union, they're gonna come from under the clutches of America anyway. Let's get that in prophecy. Let's get Revelation 17. So what we're gonna witness, brothers, is the downfall of Edom.
That's right. This is Revelation 17 and 1. Revelation 17 and 1. And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials.
All the way down to 16.
16.
Yeah.
So, Revelation 17 and 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore.
Right. So that's what, France, that's England, that's Denmark, that's Spain, Belgium, yeah, Luxembourg, and Switzerland. And that's pretty much it right there. I mean, may not be it because I didn't count with my fingers. But those European nations, those countries, all right, which encompasses the empire that we're in right now, the Roman Empire. Go on. Like, for example, back in 1954, these European countries came together, and what did they declare themselves as? The Treaty of Rome. See? Go on.
These shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire.
Yeah, so eventually it's going to get down to that point. Now, people may not really see that, but you can see it. If you watch the news and you see the political moves that are being played, right? It's clear to see it. You can see it. Because Erdogan is losing his mind. Because Donald Trump withdrawing his troops from Syria. So he's mad about that. Or he may not be mad about that, but he's making an excuse about that. And the thing with the French, they've always disliked America. But you're going to have more European countries that are going to turn against America. They're going to agree with what he's saying eventually. Right now, they kind of like laughing at him. But eventually, they're going to agree with what he's saying. And they're going to do exactly that. So it's all set up through the spirit and power and will of Yahweh Baal Shemi Yahushai. That all of these things are going to take place. You know, so while you got vocab and them clowns talking about the Edomites were done away with and trying to subvert Jake to push Jake back into Christianity, meanwhile the end is coming abroad. And there's nothing that they can do about it. Go on, bro.
So I dropped Karen. Right,
Yeah.
I've got a quick
Mm-hmm.
It's Joel 3 and 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your spears and your pruning hooks into spears.
Yeah, so these once agriculture-based countries, they're going to put that aside. They're going to become economic superior than the countries of the West, and also superior with their nuclear weaponry. Technology, going all the way back to J. Robert Oppenheimer. He began with the missile technology, which he was a German. And he came up with the idea of the atomic bomb. And guess what? Every other nation has the atomic bomb now. And Russia has pretty much become greater with that technology than America has. Right? On all levels. Go on, bro. And also China got those bad boys. Because the thing with Russia, they've been sending those S-400 weapons, but since 2000, I believe it was 14. Since the Obama administration. Go on.
Joel 3 and 10.
And I don't mean to cut you, brother. And he's also sending S-400s, I believe, down in Africa. Because now Russia is doing business with Africa now. You see that? Go on.
Joel 3 and 11. Assemble yourselves and come all ye heathen and gather yourselves together round about.
Yeah.
Oh, it's lucky. No, verse 10 is lucky. Joel 3 and 10. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong.
Right, it says, let the weak say that I am strong. Like I said earlier before, those countries that were inferior economically are becoming now superior economically. And even their technology is superior now. So that's how the weak is saying that they are strong. Okay, and even, what is his name, man? The Russian diplomat, he came out and he said something to the effect on how the West, they were running everything for 500 years. And now they're beginning to weak. They're beginning to weakening. That's what he said. Something to that effect anyway. You know? And this is the Russian diplomat. So, but years ago, he would have never said that. He's saying that right now. Because we're in a time where the nations are saying, look, you've become as weak as we. Pursuant to Isaiah 14. Let's read that again.
So, what is that from Joel?
Yeah.
Joel. This is Joel 3 and 10. It's like a 3 and 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up.
Yeah.
Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears.
Yeah.
Let the weak say, I am strong.
Yeah. Again, let the weak say that I am strong. Meaning, the countries that were poor are going to become superior now. Russia was a poor country. China was a poor country. Africa is sort of kind of poor, but they kind of getting up there because they're dealing with certain countries, right? On the other side of the spectrum. So they're becoming superior as well. Go on.
Verse 11. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about.
Right, and assemble yourselves and gather all ye heathen round about. So they're arranging themselves in their military power, in their nuclear power, geopolitically. Okay, go on.
Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened.
Yeah.
And come up into the valley of Jehoshaphat.
Right, and come into the valley of Jehoshaphat. What is the valley of Jehoshaphat? The word Jehoshaphat means Yahweh Shaphat, which means the Most High's judgment. And that's all going to be set up in the Middle East. The Persian Gulf, to be exact. Around that region, going.
Let the heathen be wakened and come into the valley of
So when you look
Jehoshaphat.
up that word waken, the Lord is what it really means. It means to be stirred up. So the nations are going to be stirred up and prepared for war. They're going to be chanting themselves for war, like those Chinese those Chinese military army. They'll come together and they like do this war dance. You know, and other nations have their own little style of war dancing. So that's them being awakened and prepared. Go on.
For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about.
Right. Go on.
Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe.
Right, so this war is going to be the judgment of all of the heathen. Why? Because of what they have done unto the people of Zion throughout history. That's why you have this nuclear war. Now, if you were to ask people, why are we going to witness a nuclear war? People will say, well, a million and one things. They'll probably say, well, I hope it doesn't happen. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. Or they'll say, well, I don't know why. Or they may say, well, because America's, because of the trade wars or what have you. But there's a higher reason as to why this war is happening. And the higher reason is just because of what was done onto Zion. That's the higher reason. So there's different levels as to why. And they may be true in their why, in answering the why, the question. But that's not really the correct answer. The correct answer is this. Let's keep moving.
This is Zechariah 1:15. And I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease. For I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction.
Yeah, and they help for, and that, again, the prophecy. So in the last days, the heathen are going to be what? At ease. So that goes all the way back to Deuteronomy 28. What does that say? It says that you shall come down very low, and the strangers are round about, you shall get up above you very high. That's the heathen right now, dwelling at ease. Go on.
So just back in Joel.
Yeah.
This is Joel 3:13. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe.
Yeah, it says put ye in the sickle, the harvest is ripe. In other words, it's time. It's going to be time for the end. Go on.
Come, get you down, for the press is full.
Yeah, come get you down for the press is full. Because it's gonna those missiles are gonna act as the wine press. All right, go on.
The fats overflow, therefore their wickedness is great.
Yeah, keep going.
Multitudes in the valley of decision.
Right, that's all of those military, not military, but that's all of the army gathering together from each country. Go on.
For the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision.
In the valley of decision. So the day of the Lord is there, and we're in the midst of the day of the Lord. Now, one can't say, well, we're coming towards a nuclear war. We're already in a nuclear war. We're already in it. The only difference, we don't see missiles flying from one place to another place. That's the only difference. We don't actually see the missiles. But we're in war. We're in World War III. World War III began a little after the Cold War era, which was in the the late 80s. So we've been in World War III since what? As old as we are. You know? Go on, bro.
Civil.
But what's happening is